Good afternoon all. After excellent first session, technical session I can say, mine is a bit difficult job. Being a speaker as well as a presenter on a topic called business models. I need to play a cautious role. Just before going to the topic that assigned to me, just say a few words about my journey in Hyderabad. I came to Hyderabad in 1988 after my graduation at Telur, Subadar district. I'm a commerce graduate. So I came to Hyderabad to pursue my career as company secretary. So it took 3 years for me to become a company secretary to pass out the examination. And in 1992, I succeeded as company secretary. So 2 years I worked in two companies, Holiday in Krishna and a textile company. In 1994, I started PS Rao Associates, practicing company secretary for. Basically, I'm also a faculty. We started one institute called Digvijay Coaching Institute for company secretaries, budding company secretaries, and graduates who want to pursue company secretary course. We started this institute in 1993. So it's a dual journey for me in the last 25 years, being a faculty in the morning hours and as company secretary in the daytime, advising the clients and taking the companies to the next level. I started in 1994, as I said, as PS Rao Associates. Started by two people, and today we are, as rightly said, my dear friend Venu, we are around 50 people working in different cap assignments. We have more than 600 clients in all southern states. So our forte is advising the clients on various business models. If you have an idea and if you want to do something and you don't know how to start, they come to us and we guide them what are the various channels that we have to build your company and how to make this company successful in case if you have a vision to bring the company to the next level. We don't interfere into the business. We don't interfere into commercialities. What we advise them is, if you have a successful business plan, how to improve your business plan, how to take this company to the next level, we advise them. And we take the companies to public issues, so we get the company listed in stock exchanges. And we also advise the companies to merge and become one company. And we help the companies to set up their companies outside India. And in case if any outside non-residents want to set up their companies in India, we help them in setting up the companies here. And overall corporate related matters, business related matters is our forte. And we have 10 seniors working in our office, and each senior there are 3 other company secretaries. So altogether 10 different modules are working all the times advising the clients. And mostly our work is our commercial capital of India. Bombay is our hub for the purpose of raising capital, advising, guiding, and making the companies to flourish, making the management to understand what kind of deliverance they need to have to make the company successful, and making them prepare to give presentation to the institutions to invest in their companies, to fund the companies. This is all we do. This is my actual profession as company secretary. And in the process, since I also involved in faculty as a faculty to guide the students, so most of my 50 odd professionals who are there as colleagues in my office, all are my students, coached at my institute, and they graduated at my institute and they joined as trainees and they become as my colleagues, and that's how we are flourishing the last 25 years. Recently we celebrated our silver jubilee year of PS Rao Associates in Daspalla, and I acknowledged everyone whoever has passed out and came out of PS Rao Associates. More than 300 company secretaries joined on that day from different parts of the country. It's really an honor for me. The kind of journey what I had in the last 25 years, we recap the whole thing what I went through, or how as PS Rao Associates we succeeded in making the clients grow, in helping the clients to grow in various capacities. This is what our forte as company secretaries. And coming to today's session, when Venu asked me, the gathering here are youngsters and the visionaries, people who have ambition to start a business, and what kind of models and what kind of advice you give them in nourishing their vision or nourishing their the inherent strength to build their company. And he asked, immediately accepted his invitation. And today I will take you through the different models that we have in building your vision or building your ambition, and you want to take up one thing and want to make this work for you. What are the various business models that an entrepreneurs, as entrepreneurs you have? I will take you through quickly. Then we'll have one question and answer session. So, as business organization, what we see as company secretaries, so many people walk in every day. I'm not bolstering my office. Every day we meet new people, new entrepreneurs who want to start a business, who want to grow in life on their own. So when they come to us with so much of fire in the belly that they want to grow, like Rao Garu said 30 years back, how he started his affairs with 10,000 rupees. In the same way, they want to build, they want to grow in life, and they want to be a successful entrepreneur. In the journey, maybe 2 or 3 people come together as friends to us. Most of the time, it's the friends that walk into our office. We 3 are the friends and we want to start a company, or we are relatives who want to start a company. Or in case if he is an individual, he say, I want to start a company or a corporateship concern or a partnership firm to do a business. That means they have an idea and they have a particular goal to achieve, but they don't know how to take that idea into on track, to put the idea into track. That's where they need the help of a professional like us. So when you want to build an organization, how to start? When you want an idea to put it on a track, how that idea to be there in the track is where you need the help of a professional. So, as business, if you want to grow, what is the bonding that is required? A perfect understanding among the entrepreneurs is most important. In case if you have more than one, so 2-3 people means you need to know, you need to understand there is a bonding that required, an understanding that required among us, the people who want to journey together as an organization. That understanding is very much required. If you take my own example, when I started my office in 1994 with 2 people, my first trainee, Mr. PS Rao, is there with me now, even after 24 years. Even he is also more or less 3-4 years younger to me. But I never treated as a colleague, as an assistant to me. He's almost same to me. PS Rao means a part of everybody. That means the owning up of the organization. That means your colleagues are the success stories. If your colleagues are well, if they are growing in life, or if they are comfortable with you, you will also grow in the process. So the first thing is, when you are 2-3 people join together and want to do a business, means the understanding of the people, the bonding of the people is most important. What kind of bonding is required? You divide what is the role you want to play. It is not that these days a single person doing a business is a very rare case, but 2-3 people come and join together and want to do a business. So a kind of demarcation, a kind of a specific job that you are going to do in the organization is most important. So the bonding is a perfect word for starting a business, in case if there is more than one. So usually it is 2 or 3 people, 5 people join together to do business. The problem is, when business is growing, when business is successful, you don't have a problem. Your problem is when you started sharing the profits, when you have started dividing the kind of profit that you are enjoying, that where the difficulty is. So unless you have perfect understanding what kind of role you are going to play in organization, when you are starting the journey, the business is not going to be successful. So the first thing is how you are going to structure your business is most important. In the journey of then what else? What kind of business models that you have? In India, if you take into consideration, in India, if you want to do a business, these are the four models that you have. One is a proprietorship concept. That means you are the only one person and you don't have any partner and you want to do business in your own name. Or you coin a name, you decide an organization name and you want to do business. But in that business, you are the lone person. You don't want to take capital from anybody. Whatever capital that you have, you want to do business with your own capital. You don't want anybody to be there in the organization. Maybe you employ, but you don't want to give ownership. That is called a proprietorship concept. That means the entire company belongs to you. Success or failure, it comes to you naturally. So even, of course, the percentage is less, but it is quite possible. Where the idea is yours and the idea you want to put it in force in the form of a business, and the idea you don't want to share with anybody else, and it is your own idea and you want to make it as a commercially viable organization. In that way, you build as a proprietorship concept. You coin a name, a beautiful name, because in your name, obviously, you don't want to do business. You are a proprietor, no doubt, but you don't want to do business in your name. You want to give a name of a business. You choose a name. There is no restriction. You don't have to go to anybody in a proprietorship concern to do a business. You choose a name and go with that particular name in the business. So that is a proprietorship concern. First, let us see what kind of a structure in sole proprietorship. This is called a sole proprietorship person. You are the lone person and you are doing the business in a particular name. Whatever capital that is required to this business, whether it is a few thousands or lakhs, you are going to contribute. Or you may borrow from somebody. But this business is yours. If the company, your business makes profit, you enjoy it. If the business suffers loss, you bear it. So you are prepared for everything in the case of a sole proprietorship concern. How to start this business? The most difficult is, yes, decide to start the business as a sole proprietorship concern. How to start? You choose a name. You decide a name in which you want to do business. So when you are deciding the name, do I require to go to anybody? Is this particular name I need to take from any government authority? The answer is no. You don't have to go to anybody for the name in which you want to do the business. And there is no government agency that is involved in that particular name. It is your own choice. But the only difficult, if there is anybody else already doing the business with a particular name which is already there in the trademark, you will have some problem in future. But that we don't know as on date. But you have a name, you got that name, you selected a name, in that name you want to do the business. But the point here, how can I do business in a particular name? The name which you are choosing, you have to open a bank account. For doing business, what is the first thing that is required? You need to have a bank account. Without having a bank account, you cannot start operating in the business. Because once you are doing a business means, the first step of any business is opening of a bank account. So to open a bank account in a particular name, you need to go to a banker, and the banker will ask, what is the entity? It's a proprietorship concern. If you are a proprietorship concern, he cannot open the bank account in the name of the business which you want. For that, what you require? You require a place of business where you are operating this business. Address proof is very much required. So obviously, the sole proprietor who wants to do business in a particular name should have a lease deed of a business of a particular area or a particular landlord, where you hire the particular place with the landlord, and in that particular premises you are doing the business. So there is a lease deed, a rental deed. In a colloquial language, we call it as rental deed. You draw a rental deed with the landlord in a particular name in which you want to do the business on a stamp paper. And in case if it is more than 11 months, if the lease deed is for a period of more than 11 months, it has to be registered. The lease deed has to be registered with sub-registrar. Then take that lease deed to the bank. In the lease deed, you have mentioned what is the name of your business. Being the person who is the sole proprietor, you have a lease deed, and lease deed you are taking a sign from the landlord. Being the lessor, you also sign. The lessor and lessee both of you sign. Lessor means the landlord, lessee means the sole proprietor. Both of you sign on the land, on the deed, on the document, and you go to take it to the banker. The banker will open the bank account. So, for a sole proprietorship concern, what is required is a lease deed in a particular name with a particular premises owner, and submitting to the banker to open a bank account is sufficient. But you need to know one more thing: for opening a bank account, you should have permanent account number. So the sole proprietor PAN number is the PAN number of the business. So whatever individual PAN number which you have, that becomes the PAN number of your business. You don't require to have a separate PAN number in the case of a sole proprietorship concern. So what I mentioned now, to open a bank account in the name of a business of sole proprietorship concern, you should have a lease deed and you should have a PAN number. Submit both to the banker will open the bank account. Then you can do the business. So which business, the business which you selected, the area which you want to operate. Because you have the idea, but you don't want an expensive business model. Sole proprietorship is the most compatible and most business-friendly business model for the entrepreneur. Because you are not going to construct a factory, you are not going to huge establishment. It's an idea which you are designed and which you want to develop into a commercial model. For that, sole proprietorship is the most apt way of doing business. Initially, if you want to convert the sole proprietorship concern into a partnership form, into a private limited company, you always have a possibility at a later date. But in initial stages, you don't have required to have any kind of expenditure. These are the only two documents that are required to start your business as a sole proprietorship concern. What are the advantages? I already mentioned the advantages. The entire business is yours. The whole profits are yours. And you engage the people. There is no partner in a sole proprietorship concern. You are the owner of the business. You take employees. You take employees into your company, into your business. You can call it as a company also. Sole proprietorship concern is also a company. Nothing wrong in calling a sole proprietorship concern as a company. The only thing is you are not using the word limited or private limited under the name. Because you cannot use the word limited or private limited at the end of the name unless it is a company registered under the Companies Act. It is an unregistered company, a sole proprietorship concern. You have a bank account, you have letterheads, you have registered GST authorities for the purpose of your commercial operations. You are registered with the shop and establishment, the local authority, that's it. It's the most efficient way of doing business for youngsters who have ideas and who don't have the kind of finances to build or to incur initial stages. That is exactly what I mentioned about the sole proprietorship concern. Next, fluid sides are also about the merits of sole proprietorship concern, which I mentioned just now. It's ease in formation, as I mentioned just now. You are in the complete control of business. Nobody has any control in your business. You are the entire owner of the business. Sole beneficiary of the profit, which I mentioned just now. And small scale operations. Sole proprietorship concern is not the kind of business model in case if you want to build a factory, if you want to have a lakhs and crores of rupees of expenditure in initial stages. I don't suggest sole proprietorship concern the right business model. If you have a small business idea and most of you are in that particular line of activity and you want to do it in a business in a small way, probably this is the best way of doing business. And benefits of small operations, inexpensive management. No expenditure is involved. Only two documents as I mentioned just now. A rental deed and PAN number, permanent account number given by the income tax department. So procedure, as I mentioned already, just now we discussed the procedure involved for starting a sole proprietorship concern. I don't have to elaborate again the same thing what we discussed. This is second one, partnership. Sometimes you may not be the only person who is involved in the business. You want to have 2 or 3 people join together and want to do the business. That is called a partnership form. That means you and your partner, both of you are involved. It could be any number. There is no restriction as such. Any number of people can join and start a partnership firm. But too many partners, it becomes cumbersome to do the business. Maybe 10, 12, 30. The Act allows up to 100. The partners can be up to 100. But there is no point having 100 partners and doing a partnership firm. Restrict 10 or 12 people. When you have that kind of people in the business, that means all of you are co-owners of the business. Everybody has a share. You mentioned what is the share that you have in the partnership deed. And this partnership deed is a document that's signed by all the partners. In this partnership deed, you mentioned what is the kind of business you want to do, which name you want to do the business, and what is the capital that each partner is contributing, what is the share of the profit of each partner, who is going to manage the partnership firm, because sometimes the partners are not the active partners, they are passive partners, or dormant partners. They don't want to actively participate. Because they give capital, they share profit, but they have something else, some other business in which they are interested. They are not interested in this business. So the people who are actively participating in the business of the partnership firm, known as managing partner, he is managing the partnership firm. So partnership firm is also another business model. There are successful partnership firms, highly successful partnership firms, where they started as a small partnership firm, grown year after year, and become very big. I have a partnership firm as my client, which we converted into a limited company at a later stage, supplied some tools to ISRO, NASA. It's a partnership firm. 3 friends in their engineering college, small university started as 40-year-old. Out of the 2 expired recently, more than 70 years. And as partnership firm, more than 30 years they continued the operations, supplied products directly to ISRO and NASA. And at a particular stage, when second generation of their children came into business, they decided to convert this partnership firm into a limited company, which we did. And later on, we took this company to IPO. It's a listed company in the stock exchange. So it is possible doing business in initial stage as a partnership firm, build the company for some years, and then go for conversion of partnership firm into a limited company. It is possible under the Companies Act, a partnership firm can easily be migrated into a company form of business without much of an expenditure. In spite of the fact your partnership firm is having huge buildings, huge constructions or equipment, you don't have to pay any taxes. Act gives that kind of leverage, conversion of an existing partnership firm into a company under the Companies Act without much of taxes. So, if there are 2 or more people jointly doing the business, that is possible in the form of partnership. Unlike in the case of sole proprietorship concern, there is an act that is regulating the partnership form. That act is called Partnership Act 1934. Being a partnership firm, you have the option of registering your partnership firm under the Partnership Act. There is no compulsion again. If you don't want to register, you don't have to register at all. But there is a possibility of registering the partnership firm as partnership under the Partnership Act by going to the register of firms. Every state has a register of firms. So you go to register of firms and register a partnership firm. You draft a document, partnership deed, sign some documents under the Partnership Act, pay the fees to the sub-registrar, he will register the partnership firm. And registration does not give you any benefits, but registration will give you some sanctity, some kind of recognition. So you are the partners. That is also another business model. Partnership form, which is exactly what I mentioned. So, partnership form of three types. Most of the partnership forms are partnership at will. That means perpetuity. We don't define how many years you are going to be in partnership form. It is a partnership form for life. As I mentioned just now, our client's case, it started 1960s, 63 or 64. In early 90s, they converted into a company. Now it is a company. So in the documents of this company, it will mention originally it was started in 1962 as a partnership form, subsequently got converted into a company under the Companies Act. So most of the partnerships are partnership at will, perpetuity, no limitation at all. Any number of years they continue. Second one is particular partnership. That means a partnership form only for a limited purpose. Like for example, if you are constructing a dam, you are constructing a particular irrigation project, it's meant for 8-9 years. The project is going to be completed. For the purpose of that irrigation project, you started on partnership form. That is called partnership form for a particular purpose. So this partnership form will exist until the completion of the project. Once the project is completed, the partnership form will be dissolved. That is second one. Third one is for a duration. That means you have decided to be in partnership form for a particular number of years. Nothing to do with the project. For 5 years, 10 years, 20 years like that. So this is what I mentioned. Active partner, which I already mentioned. Active partner means the people who are managing the business are called active partners. Passive partners are only given capital to the partnership firm but not in the day-to-day management of the partnership firm called passive partners or sleeping partners. Other nominal partners mean sometimes you want to have a particular name in your partnership deed even though he is not a partner. Lending the name. Sometimes they call it as lending the name. Okay. So sometimes a particular person name is so important to the partnership firm, you borrow his name even though he is not a partner. I'll tell you one example. In some cases, partnership partners, they use, it's not out of the context, they make Lord Venkateswara as their partner. Venkateswara Swami is their partner. I have seen partnership deed, Lord Venkateswara Swami is our partner and he has 3% of share of our partnership firm. It means you cannot imagine, but that is how the sentiment of these partners. Whatever is the profit of the partnership firm every year, diligently 3% they deposit in the hundi of because that is called nominal partners or partnership by holding out. That means your name is there in the partnership deed. So a person who is a great industrialist, like for example, you want to take the name of a particular industrialist, like Ram Reddy Garu requested, sir, I want to use your name in our partnership deed because you are a name to reckon with in the particular sector. Please give your name to use your name in our partnership deed. So out of the kind of affection or out of the sincerity of the youngsters, okay, use my name. I am not going to give 1 rupee to your partnership firm, but I don't need also any profits of your firm, but use my name. Because why I am using the name of Ram Reddy Garu? Because I get some mileage. When I go to a particular project, Ram Reddy Garu also our partner in the Maku project. So that is the kind of leverage I want to get from the name of a great person or a great industrialist. That is called a nominal partner or partner. Legal issues means, yes, legal issues are there. As partner, since my name is there in the partnership deed, so just like that, I cannot convince Ram Reddy to give his name because unless he knows me fully well and my background and the sincerity, he doesn't lend his name to me. So he has taken that kind of calculated risk in allowing his name to use in the partnership deed. But that is possible. Then how to register the partnership? Registration, as I mentioned, registration is not mandatory, not compulsory. Whether you want to register, you register. Otherwise also, there is no compulsion. But if I want to start a partnership firm, what is that is required? As you are aware, one partnership deed. అందరి మధ్య ఒక అవగాహన, what we call it as understanding. We are starting the business. These are our responsibilities. These are our duties. This is my capital, and this is my share in the profit. The another example which I want to mention here: your capital and your sharing of profit need not be the same. Like for example, 1 crore is the capital. I am contributing only 10 lakhs rupees. My rest of the partners are contributing 90 lakhs. But even though I am contributing only 10 lakhs rupees, I can take 50% of the profits. Because even though my capital is only 10 lakhs, my continuity in the partnership firm, my contribution, the success of partnership firm is so important. Partners are allowing me to take 50%. That is also possible. So there is no link between the capital contribution, the share in the profits. That is exactly what I want to mention. So any number of partners you can have, but too many partners you don't have the kind of bonding that required to have. Usually what we observe or what we suggest, a maximum of 10 partners to have a partnership firm. This is about the partnership firm. So partnership deed, rental document with the landlord for the purpose of opening the bank account, and you need to get PAN number, permanent account number from the income tax department to open the bank account, because partnership firm should have PAN number. These 3 documents you should submit to the banker, then the banker will open the bank account. ఇంకో ముఖ్యమైన విషయం ఏంటంటే ఏ బిజినెస్ చేయాలన్నా బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ ఓపెన్ చేయడానికి ఏ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ కావాలో ఆ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ మీద వర్క్ చేయాలి. So as I mentioned, in the case of sole proprietorship concern, the bank account, opening a bank account, your individual PAN number of the business. What is the only document that required is a rental deed with the landlord. In the case of partnership firm, one is a partnership deed, a rental document with the landlord, and the third one is obtaining PAN number from the income tax department. These 3 documents, if you submit to the banker will open the bank account in the name of the firm with which you are doing the business. If it is a registered partnership firm, then what are all the documents which you submit to the registrar? The same document you submit to banker. He will open the bank account. Then you can do the business. This is about the partnership firm doing the business. Recently, 2010 9 Government of India passed one new enactment called LLP, a Limited Liability Partnership. A Limited Liability Partnership. One of the disadvantages in a partnership firm, if losses in the partnership firm is more than the value of your assets, business assets value is 1 crore, loss is 2 crores. Means the creditor, whoever has given you loans, they can attach your personal properties as partners of the firm. You have the risk in that particular way. So your liabilities are not restricted to the amount whatever you are doing to the partnership firm. Your personal assets are also responsible. You got what I mean? So in a partnership firm, you cannot demarcate. My personal assets is this much, my partnership firm is this much. Partners and partnership both are the same. If partnership assets are insufficient to recover your loans, the creditor can attach your properties. If your co-partner property is not sufficient, you are liable for the whole of the partnership firm liabilities. That is a disadvantage in a partnership firm. 5 partners you take. All 5 partners' personal assets are also in danger in a partnership firm. In spite of the fact you contributed 2 crores to the partnership firm, there is no guarantee. Only 2 crores is your loss. Your personal assets are also at stake if the partnership firm is not successful. So you have to be very cautious. To prevent from this kind of disadvantage in doing the business, Bharat Prabhutvam 2009 లో a new enactment తీసుకొచ్చింది called LLP, Limited Liability Partnership Enactment. LLP enactment. If you register a partnership form under LLP enactment, your liabilities are only to the extent of the amount what you invested in the partnership form. So if I invested 1 crore in the partnership form as my share in the partnership form, if there is a loss, the creditors cannot come and attach my properties. So you have two choices. Either you go for a partnership form or you go for LLP partnership, a limited liability partnership. Choice is yours. ఇది కొత్త ఎనాక్ట్మెంట్ లాస్ట్ 2009లో వచ్చింది. ఇన్ ద లాస్ట్ 11 years మా ఆఫీస్ నుంచి మేము ఒక 500 ఎల్ఎల్పీని స్టార్ట్ చేసాం. నాట్ ఎవ్రీబడి, బికాస్ ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్, why to have again LLP? Instead of going to LLP, I can go work for a company. LLPకి వెళ్ళేదానికన్నా I'll go for a private limited company. What's wrong in that? That is the psychology of entrepreneur. So yes, these days the confidence of entrepreneurs to start LLP is growing. On an average, around 10 or 12 LLPs we are starting in a month from our office. Earlier that was not there. So now you have a flexibility to choose whether to go for a regular partnership form or LLP.
Can we convert existing partnership forms into LLP?
Possible. That is also documentation, extra documentation is involved, but that is possible. Existing partnership form can also be converted into LLP. That is also possible. So this is about the partnership form. I did not discuss about LLP part of partnership form, but that possibility is there. So this is all procedure which I mentioned, partnership form. The next one is Hindu underwedded family. Yes. LLPలో మేనేజింగ్ పార్ట్నర్ ఉంటాడు, పార్ట్నర్స్ డెసిగ్నేటెడ్ పార్ట్నర్ అంటారు. ఇన్ ఏ రెగ్యులర్ పార్ట్నర్షిప్ ఫామ్ మేనేజింగ్ పార్ట్నర్ అంటాం పార్ట్నర్షిప్ ఫామ్లో. LLPలో డెసిగ్నేటెడ్ పార్ట్నర్. You should call either a partner, designated partner. The people who are only giving capital is called partners in LLP. People who are managing the LLP is called designated partners. That is against the law. Director అనేది ఓన్లీ కంపెనీస్కే పెట్టుకోవాలి, కానీ LLPని పెట్టుకోవాలి, పార్ట్నర్షిప్ ఫామ్ పెట్టుకోవాలి. This is about the second one, that is a partnership. Third one is HUF. ఇది చాలా మంది unexplored business HUF. నార్త్ ఇండియాలో బాగా చేస్తారు. Four religions can do the business under HUF. Hindus, Sikhs, Jain, and third Hindu, Sikh, Jain, and they can do business as HUF. HUF ante Hindu, and one family is called one HUF. The Karta, the head of the family is the Karta of HUF. There are two kinds of HUFs are prevailing in the country. Dayabaga of HUF, Mitakshara. Dayabaga kind of HUF being followed in Assam and West Bengal. The rest of the whole country follows Mitakshara HUF model. What is the difference between Dayabaga and Mitaksha? Dayabaga ante the son in the family gets share in the HUF only when he becomes major. One HUF is one business model. Like father is Karta, his wife, sons and daughters are the co-partners. They are all business. They are all having share in the HUF. You mentioned what percentage of share they have. Karta is the head of the business. The rest of all family members are co-partners. Karta, co-partners. How we distinguish between managing partner and partner? Same in HUF. Karta is the head of the family is Karta, and he or she, whoever is head of the family. If husband dies and children are minors, the wife can be Karta. Nothing wrong in that. But usually the male head is the Karta of the HUF. So Dayabaga and Mitaksha. Dayabaga is being followed in Assam and West Bengal. The rest of the whole country is following Mitaksha. Jimutavahana is the creator of this, our business, our culture, Mitaksha and Dayabaga. Mitaksha means whenever a child born in the family, the day on which he is given birth, he becomes co-partner. It doesn't have to be a major to become partner of the HUF. That is called Mitaksha. The date of his birth is automatically becomes co-partner of the HUF. HUF is also another way of doing business. So, 4 religions are using can follow this practice: Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Sikhs. All 4 religions can practice this HUF model of doing business. You follow either Mitaksha or Dayabaga. You have one deed, HUF deed, and submit to the income tax department and get PAN number and go and open a bank account and do the business. This is simple way of doing business in the form of HUF. Every family that belong to these 4 religions can have one more income tax return in the form of HUF. That means it is also a kind of tax planning. Whether you want to do business or not, you have one more return. One more return means to an extent of 5 lakhs rupees, you have a taxable income, tax planning income in that particular HUF. Your rental income, your business, you do in the HUF. So this is also another beautiful model of doing business in a small way. You can have shares in HUF, shares of various companies. You can have properties in HUF. You can have business in HUF. This is another kind of doing business in the form of Hindu undivided family.
Many of you open this kind of things.
To tell you honestly, we are not active in this business model. Usually chartered accountants, they do this only to give tax planning to each family. In a tax plan.
Generally, experience people says do business in the family.
It is not that with the family you are doing. Family resources you are using to do a business. మీ ఫ్యామిలీ అందరికీ కలిపి ఒక 15 lakhs ఇన్కమ్ ఉందనుకోండి, ఆ 15 lakhs ఇన్కమ్ హెచ్యుఎఫ్లో తీసుకొచ్చి యూ డూ బిజినెస్. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ద హెచ్యుఎఫ్. Father, mother, 2 sons, 1 daughter, all of you are having an income of 15 lakhs rupees. You contribute to 15 lakhs into HUF as your share and do business in the form of HUF. That is what the basic concept of HUF is. The next one is a regular company incorporated in the Company Secretaries. You incorporate a company, you go to a consultant, a chartered accountant, a company secretary like us. and convey your intention that you want to do a business in the form of a company. Because you don't want to do business in a partnership concern, neither a partnership firm, nor LLP, nor HUF, and you want a limited company to do your business. If that is being the case, the consultant will suggest you how to go about in doing business in a company form of business. The disadvantage between other business models and company form of business model. In other business models, you don't need an expert, you don't need an external consultant to do your business. Once you do the documentation, incorporate and open the bank account, you can do the business. But in a company form of business, you need continuously guidance of external consultant, like a chartered accountant and company. Not only at the time of incorporating or registering the company, every subsequent stage. ఎప్పుడైనా నువ్వు ముఖ్యమైన డెసిషన్ తీసుకున్నావంటే కన్సల్టెంట్ ఒపీనియన్ కావాలి. సో ఇట్స్ కంబర్సమ్, ఇట్స్ కాస్ట్లీ. Regularly you need to file the returns with the Register of Companies, MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Filing fees running into thousands of rupees. It's a bit costlier when compared to other business models. Normally, we don't suggest our client directly don't incorporate a company. Start the business in a partnership form in a small way. You grow for some time. Then we'll see. In case if there is need arises, then we'll convert the partnership form into a company. Otherwise, directly incorporating a company means you need to incur a lot of expenditure. Today, to manage one company in a year, anywhere between 1 to 1.5 lakhs is the expenditure. Apart from initial expenditure of incorporating a company. How many entrepreneurs can afford to have expenditure to a consultant and a government authority 1.5 lakhs per annum? That means almost 15,000 rupees per month. You can engage one employee for that with that amount. So no point incorporating a private limited company or a public limited company when you don't have that kind of vision to start a business. But if anybody is incorporating a technology company, a startup company, innovation company, that has to be in the form of LLP, that has to be in the form of a private limited company. No other business model is allowed. As you are aware, Government of India recognizing startup companies. If you want to be recognized as a startup company, only 3 different business models. Either it has to be registered partnership form, or LLP, or private limited company. So a partnership concern, unregistered partnership form is not allowed to register with the government as a registration as a startup company. Startup company means it has to be a technology company. Otherwise, it cannot be a startup company. It has to be technology driven, innovation, IT related, some kind of technology is involved. Otherwise, it is not eligible to be registered as a startup company. So, private limited company incorporation is a huge process. I don't want to go in detail about this. It takes time. The time which is given to me is almost done. So, incorporating a private limited company, taking the services of a consultant and hiring him, we charge. It's not out of the contest. We charge huge amount to incorporate a company. Our fees itself is 50,000 rupees to incorporate a company. Apart from the fees, whatever you are paying to the government. And regularly, you need our consultancy for filing of various documents. In case you have that kind of business, that kind of business model, so in long run, then incorporate a private limited company. So, incorporating a private limited company under the Companies Act or a public limited company. There are 2 types of companies, private limited company and public limited company. What is the difference between a private limited company and public limited company? Private limited company means the total number of shareholders in the company shall not be more than 200. Maximum 200 shareholders. And you cannot sell your shares in a private limited company to an outsider. If you are a shareholder in a private limited company, and if there is a need for you to sell your shares, you have to sell your shares only to your existing shareholder. You cannot sell to an outsider. 2 restrictions. One is maximum number of shareholders are 200 and transferability of your shares. You cannot sell your shares. If you don't want to have these 2 restrictions, then you can go for incorporating a public limited company, where there is no restriction on number of shareholders. Any number of shareholders you can have. And whenever you want to sell your shares, you can sell your shares if there is a buyer for your shares. Not only that, being a public limited company, you want to list the company shares in the stock exchange? Yes, it is possible. A private limited company cannot be listed in the stock exchange. Only public limited company shares can be listed in the stock exchange. A private limited company can be converted into public limited company. You must have seen recently in the newspapers, Tata Sons Limited, which was a public limited company. Because of the dispute between Cyrus Mistry and Mr. Ratan Tata, they got converted from public limited to private limited. Reverse. So that Mistry cannot sell his shares. You understood the logic. Being a public limited company, Mr. Mistry can sell his shares whenever he wants to sell the shares. If he sells the shares, that is the disadvantage to the remaining shareholders. That is the reason when he exited from the board, immediately the company got converted to private limited. So once the company got converted to private limited, whenever Mistry wants to sell the shares, to whom he has to sell the shares? Only Ratan Tata has to sell the shares. He cannot offer shares to outside, he has to offer shares only to existing shareholders. That is the difference between a public limited company and a private limited company. These are the business models. So, of course, this runs into many slides, which is not so important. But these are the kind of business models the entrepreneurs have to choose to do a business. Now, I open for any questions. Yes.
So how many of you feel this particular one is like a documentary? But cinema vastavam kaadu, documentary vastavam. It may not be as attractive as a commercial movie, but these are the fundamentals. How many of you feel is useful? Please raise your hands. Wow. That's an honor to the time we have spent. Thank you so much.